Yo, what's going on, guys? Freaking, I told you I'll be back. You know, and I told you it won't be a month again, bro. Like I was saying, bro, it won't be a month. So we are back. You know what I'm saying? We are here and we are back and better than ever. You know what I'm saying? We're getting better every time. I love seeing you guys. I hope you love seeing me because you know what I'm saying? Alright, but today we are reacting to basically your boy Wancy, or my fault if I'm saying the name wrong, because Wancy Entertainment. Thank you for making these horror films and making me be able to watch them. Alright, with your boys. With that being said, let's get into this video. Alright, 3 true horror story animated, boom. I don't know why I stopped the video clip, but okay. I guess.
Hi, I'm a fan of your
who are
show.
you?
This happened to me a few years ago.
Okay.
I'm a guy and I was in my 30s at the time.
Uh-huh.
I live in a Scandinavian country. Back then, I used to go for walks late at night. It was a pretty safe area, or at least it used to be. But things started getting worse. More violent crime, mostly gang-related.
Bro.
Still, if you minded your own business, it wasn't usually a problem.
Ugh.
So one night, around midnight, I was out walking. Up ahead, I saw a tall apartment building,
He got that
and
zoo
2 men
disease,
were
bro.
pacing back and forth around it. I
You know the-
recognized
you know
the
the-
building.
I'm sorry.
A retired teacher from my school lived there. She was probably in her 50s by now. It felt a little strange seeing these guys circle the place, but I didn't think too much of it. Then I noticed they were
Oh
acting
my gosh, bro. Why you
off.
look like that?
They were standing on their tiptoes, peeking through windows. One of them even picked up a
bro, where he
stick
came
and
from?
walked back across the yard. That's when I realized they were about to break in, and I had just walked into the middle of it. They noticed me. They stopped and turned and stared directly at me. My gut told me to move, fast.
Yes.
So I turned left to get out of there, but the path wasn't great either. It led past a school and an open lawn, totally empty. No people, no cover. I glanced back. At first, the men walked the other way, but when I made the last turn in front of the school, I spotted them again, hiding behind a bush.
Wait, how?
Watching
How?
me, waiting.
How?
There's no way they ended up there by accident. If they weren't planning something, they wouldn't have followed me like that. At one point, I was almost home, so I did the only thing I could think of. I took my jacket off and held it up, like a decoy. Then,
Bro.
I ran,
What are
casually,
you talking?
back to my house.
What?
Nothing happened. They didn't follow me. But I know I got lucky that night. If I hadn't turned left,
What was
if
that
I'd
for,
kept
though?
walking straight into the dark, they probably would have robbed me. I still go for
Bro.
walks late at night sometimes, but only for 10, maybe 15 minutes. And I always stay close to the buildings, somewhere people can see me, just in case.
That's actually crazy. Why? There's an ad. Alright, we're back. Boom. True pizza delivery man horror
This
story?
happened 5 years ago when I was 15 years old. I was hosting a sleepover during the winter holidays. The weather that day was rainy and thunder was clashing louder than usual. I invited 5 of my closest friends over: Kai, John,
Kai?
Nick, Robin, and Marcus.
Like Sinai?
We had all known each other since we were kids. Robin's uncle
I
Blake
used to know
also
Robin,
came over to keep an eye
but
on us since my parents were away on
I
vacation.
ain't need no Batman.
They would not be back for a
Sorry.
few days. My 2 bulldogs were with me too. Blake was a funny and easygoing guy, but he was no joke. He trained in professional martial arts and even coached MMA fighters. Everyone
That's pretty fire.
arrived that afternoon. I don't remember the exact time, but it was already pretty dark outside. The weather was classic winter with heavy rain and low skies. Blake ordered everyone pizza, and we decided to watch a scary movie. Honestly, it felt like the perfect night for it. The stormy weather set the mood. Halfway through the movie, the doorbell rang. We figured it was the pizza guy, and Blake went to get it.
Bro.
He looked through the peephole and saw the delivery man. He was about 6 foot tall and had a strange, unsettling expression. Blake said the guy gave him a bad feeling right away. He opened the door, and the man handed him the pizza. There were no words, just this long, creepy smile.
Oh my gosh,
Blake
bro.
paid and shut the door quickly. Later, he told us it was one of the most awkward moments of his life. He just stood there while this guy silently grinned at
Bro
him.
gave him the freaking
Something about
aura.
him felt wrong. Still, we brushed it off and continued watching the movie. By the time it
Was the
ended,
pizza
it was
good?
close to midnight. We all decided to sleep in the same room. It was the large guest room upstairs. Everyone brought their own sleeping bags. I slept on the bed, and so did Nick. The others set up around us on the floor. Blake stayed downstairs, watching his favorite Netflix series on the couch. We stayed up
Okay.
talking for about 30 minutes before finally falling asleep. Then, a shrug on my shoulder. Nick was trying to wake me. His face looked worried. He whispered, "Did you hear that?" There was a knock coming from the window. At first, I thought it was thunder, but then he leaned in and said, "I think someone's trying to get in." My heart started racing. We stared at the window, frozen. The knocking stopped. Then a dark figure appeared right at the glass. They were wearing
Nah,
a
that's
black
crazy,
or gray
bro.
hoodie. I could not make out the face,
Freaking,
just a shape,
what's the
a
name?
shadow. but it was
Marcus!
close, too
Marcus!
close.
Nick!
Adrenaline kicked
Nick!
in. I jumped out of
Mark!
bed and ran to the window. I locked it fast,
I forgot his
just
name.
as the figure tried to lift it open.
Dad!
That was when I saw it. A crooked white tooth twisted into a vicious smile, but I still could not get a clear
Bro.
look at the rest of the face. I bolted back across the room and shook everyone awake. Then came the knocking again. Louder,
Bro.
meaner. He started yelling something, but the words did not make any sense. It was like my brain could not process them. We ran straight downstairs to wake
Bro,
up
like,
Blake.
yes,
Blake did not
dude.
hesitate. He grabbed my 2 bulldogs and headed outside. We followed behind him. What we saw
his name
was
is
disturbing.
Blake.
There was a ladder leaning against the side of the house. It was positioned right below the bedroom window. The knocking sound had been the ladder tapping against the wall as the man climbed. Blake spotted muddy footprints leading to the backyard. He ran that way. That was when we saw him. The man was crouched under a garden bush trying to hide. Blake charged at him, with the dogs barking beside him. The dogs lunged and bit into the man's hoodie,
Bro.
and Blake punched him hard and fast.
Call the police!
He yelled. We did. It took them a while to arrive because of the storm.
W. Blake,
When
bro.
they finally got there, they arrested the man.
W.
Then
Blake.
came the part that still haunts me. The officers told us this was not the first time he had done something like this.
What?
And Blake, he swore it was the same guy who delivered our pizza earlier that night. Since then, I have never let my guard down, and my
So,
dogs,
like-
they sleep in my room now, every single night.
Did bro know he, like, why? Oh my goodness, Dad. Did he know that he was gonna be there? Like, did he get that pizza job delivery, like, just deliberately for, freaking to go to there? Or what? Alright, we're back. The true black magic horror story.
Hey Wanzi, my name is Becky. I'm from a country in West Africa called Ivory Coast, and I have a scary story that happened to me when I was just 6 years old.
Okay.
Back then, I lived in a small apartment with my parents. It was a quiet building, and I didn't have any friends to play with. There weren't any other kids my age around. So my parents hired a babysitter to take care of me whenever they were busy. One day, I told my babysitter I wanted to play outside the building. She agreed, and we went out together. Right next to our apartment building, there was a small house made entirely out of wood, and that's where I saw them. A group of kids playing right outside the wooden house. I got excited and asked my babysitter if I could join them. She
I'm not
said
gonna lie,
yes.
y'all.
So I ran over and started playing with them. They were a bit older than me, and I remember they were
I
all
ended up
siblings.
beating
At some
like
point,
my
the
mom used to
older girl in the
babysit.
group said she had to cook something. I was curious and
I
asked,
ended up beating
"Can
up all the
I
kids that
help
my
you?"
mom babysitted.
She
And
smiled
ended
and
up
said,
stopping babysitting.
Okay.
Then she told me to go
Sorry,
pick up
Mom.
some small rocks, and some big rocks too. I didn't question it, I just did it. She brought out a big cooking pot and placed it over a fire, and then she began putting the rocks I collected into the pot. At first, I was confused, and I asked myself, what is going on? But I was just a kid. I tried to understand and tried to blend in. She covered the pot and waited. A few minutes later, she opened it again, and that's when I saw it. Inside the pot was rice and meat, cooked, hot, ready to eat. The same pot that was full of rocks just minutes before. I was shocked, but also amazed. I didn't understand how she had turned rocks into food. I remember thinking it had to be some kind of black magic. Then she invited me to eat with her and her siblings, and I was so close to saying yes. I was young and I was naive, and the food smelled really good. But right then, my babysitter, who had been sitting a bit further away, noticed what was going on. She ran over and shouted,
Don't eat that food!
She grabbed my hand and pulled me away. We went straight home. She didn't even say anything on the way back. She just looked scared. Now I'm 16 and I still think about that day. What kind of magic did those children use? What would have happened if I had eaten that food? Ever since that experience, I don't like eating at other people's houses because I've seen with my own eyes that not every meal is what it seems.
It just I don't even know what to say to that. But that I never went through no babysitting experience like that. But that's just crazy, yo. Freaking. If you guys like the video, if you guys like the video, please leave a thumbs up. Freaking share with your friends. You know. Please leave a thumbs up. Like, alright, I love y'all. With that being said, peace.